I went to the ER and was diagnosed with multiple myeloma bone cancer at 52 years old. This right now it's January of 2024. So in August of 2023, I was diagnosed. It started out, I was just in pain. From my understanding, what I've read, that's pretty much the way most of us find out about it. Not everybody, obviously. I'm sure there's a lot of stories out there on different people, the way they found out. But me personally, I was at my job, and at my job, I just became more and more in pain. Just things I did just seemed to be tougher every day, harder to complete. Come home and was just wore out, tired. Couldn't understand it. I was like, wow, I'm 52 years old, not in horrible shape, and I'm sure I could be in better shape. I'm overweight, not perfect, but, guys that I speak with at work, they'd go home and seem like do things after work and, big chores and maybe have a good time. And, me, I was just completely exhausted. My job generally runs around about 10 hours, 11 hours a day at work. Then, time getting there, time getting home. By the time it's all said and done, I've probably spent 13, 14 hours a day, doing what I needed to do to get my job away from home completed. One weekend we're out, and my wife and I am just in so much pain that it's gotten to the point now to where when I'm riding down the road in my personal vehicle, we hit a bump, and I'm just like, it just hurts. It's hurting along my back, sort of where I would think that the kidneys would be in that area, and just kind of pretty much right across through there, and some pain going up the spine. But so she says, do you think you should go to the ER? It just seems like it's getting worse and worse. And she's right. It's not getting better at this point. So this was, I believe, a Sunday. And I said, sure, let's go. Let's go see what this is about. Let's see what's happening. And this was on August the 6th of 2023. And we go, and once I finally get into a room, I tell the doctor, Doc, something's wrong, and I do not want to leave here until you find out what it is that's wrong with me, because this has told him everything I've told you all so far. Basically, it's not to the point of getting better. This is getting worse, and I've been dealing with this for quite some time now. I'm guessing somewhere around the area of really bad pain, I'd say 3 months. And just being in bad pain, I would say a lot longer, could be 6 months to a year. It was, I don't know how long it had been going on in the bed. It sound funny to some of you, but, in the mornings when it came time to get out of bed, man, it was just excruciating pain just to roll over and to get out of bed, my spine. At that point, it wasn't so much going across where I would think that the kidneys were at. This was more up the spine when I was laying in the bed. And, but once I got up and I got my day going, I was okay. So I just thought, man, it's just old age, just something you're going to have to deal with as you're getting older and time goes on. Anyway, tell the doctor this stuff, and they do some scans on me. That was probably around 4 p.m. in the evening, I believe, when they did these scans. And about 6:30, one of the doctors sticks his head in the room and asks me, have you ever been diagnosed with any form of bone cancer? No, I have not. Well, from what we see, this looks like it could be a cancer that affects your bones, and it's called multiple myeloma. And, we spoke for a few minutes, and I believe that he went into a little bit of detail as far as to the point of there wasn't really a cure for it, and that we went into some detail there, and my wife was in the room with me, and of course we're sitting there with our mouths open, just in shock. And he says, "But this is not a formal diagnosis. Let us check into this. Let us get to the bottom of it. Let us, do our part, and we'll see." Well, it was many hours later on. Many hours before anyone really came back in and gave us much of any information. And the information they gave us was basically that it did look like multiple myeloma, and that I would be getting a room at the hospital for the night. And they will be running some tests and seeing what's going on with me. And that's how I found out. Was just being in pain, going to the doctor, and it was kind of scary. They did some things on me through that week and tried to get my pain under control, and it really didn't. They sent me home with some medication that I actually ended up going back to the doctor the following weekend around that time. I think it might have been Friday, and just back to the ER, and couldn't bear the pain. It wasn't enough, but I had to go back to the ER in order to basically get back into this system of finding out, what was going to happen. Like, there was no way. I can't just go to the doctor and say, "Hey, this isn't helping." The area that I'm in, it seems like most of the doctors are difficult to get into. They're weeks, if not months out. So anyway, as I'm waiting at the ER this time, a lady tells me that her uncle, as she was one of the nurses, told me that her uncle had what I've got, multiple myeloma, and that he found out by bending over, basically, by bending over and picking up a suitcase. Said he was going on a travel somewhere, and his back broke, and went to the doctor, and I was like, wow. And she started telling me about how this really weakens the bones, and giving me some more information about it than I had been able to have. I was just in so much pain the week that I was at home. So this following week, so they finally, get me through this system, and they admit me back into, this time when I'm at the ER, they admit me back into the hospital. And this time they're more determined to get to the bottom of my pain and get this at least to a point to where I don't have to come back to the ER, in pain in less than a week later. And so it took about a week of me being in there in the hospital, trying different things. Finally, they did figure out, and they did some more tests, some scans and things. The first week that I was in there, something that I did leave out was they did one of the bone marrow, not a transplant, but basically drilled down into the bone marrow, pulled it out to see, what they could discover that, if this would help them out. Sent that off to a lab to make sure that this was multiple myeloma and find out any extra information that they could get from my bone marrow. That was the first week. So this second week that I'm in here, like I said, they're basically just trying to get this pain under control, and it was pretty phenomenal. I'm not on pain pills, not a person. Matter of fact, years ago, I did have an injury that I did require pain medication, and I had a very, very, I guess you would call it, low tolerance to it. Just a little bit did a lot to me. So for the doctor to tell me that how much it took to get my pain under control was pretty scary, and what they had to send me home with to keep this under control on this second visit to the hospital, this second week. Like I said, it scared me. I knew then, wow, this is some serious pain. And not only is this some serious pain, that this is, now I'm going to probably have an addiction of some sort to this pain medication. But I guess, even if you was something that you felt that you were required to take for the rest of your life, from I mean, it's sort of not the greatest diagnosis anyway, having multiple myeloma. I mean, how long do you have? 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. Some people, everybody's read the guy out there. Somebody lived over 20 years apparently, and some people run with that. And good luck, man. I hope you live 30 years, 40 years. I hope you live forever. Hope they find a cure while you've got it. But I just try to be realistic. And what is realistic with this? Is it, hey, I hope to live a year, 3 years, 5 years. From myself, and this is only me, not telling anybody else what to think out there, there's probably people out there that are over this barrier right now, but I'm thinking, and this is a big spread, I'm thinking somewhere between 3 years and 10 years. I'm thinking that's probably realistic there. Something you can maybe shoot for. I'm kind of shooting for that in myself, and I don't dwell on it. It's something that you have to come to terms with yourself, I guess, and be realistic that, hey, this is going to happen. I look at it like it gave me time to get my affairs in order. There were some things that I needed to work on. And so, and not only that, maybe give you time to work on yourself and some other things that you want to, that you think that you needed maybe this time to do. So it can be looked at as a positive, it really can. And, and you don't have to look at it, be so negative either. Like, some people out there may be like, wow, this guy's really, thinking low, man, 3 to 10 years, like, hey, I'm thinking 20 to 30 or, whatever. And hey, that's great. That's great. That's wonderful. Like I said. So they sent me home that second week. Like I said, you got to think this is back in August. And man, I have been through a lot since then. There have been some real ups and downs. And when I say pain, like that second week that I'm in there, the first week that I was in there, of August, this isn't pain like you think that you've ever dealt with. This is a different kind of pain. If you've ever fallen off of a bicycle, fallen off of a ladder, I'm not a painter by trade by any source, but I had been painting an outdoor area one time as a younger person, maybe in my late 20s, early 30s. And I remember I was moving a ladder, and it was about maybe 2.5 stories high. It was a pretty high ladder. And my silly self had left a caulk gun up there on top of the ladder, a full-size metal caulk gun with the caulk in it, and hanging on the ladder thinking I could move it over. Well, the caulk gun falls all the way down, hits me on top of the head. I had to have staples in my head. Something like that, that's nothing compared to what this multiple myeloma can do to you if you hit this pain like I did on the pain level that I was in. I've broken at least one bone before, and that was not comparable to the multiple myeloma. Done some things in my life, that you would think would be pretty painful, and like I said, nothing I've ever done compared to this pain. It's just off the charts. If you think that if you don't have any kind of cancer like this that affects your bones, and you think that you have felt a 10 as far as pain goes, I'd maybe rethink that, because now I know that a 10, when you get into that point of pain where you're at a 10 level, my opinion is it makes it come out your mouth. I mean, you're going to holler, you're going to scream, you're going to make a noise. You would think that you wouldn't. You think, no, man, I'm more of a man than that, or more of an adult than that, more of a woman than that, whatever. You think that until you experience this pain, and then you'll know. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. I hope this whole thing with this is not, and none of that, you may go through totally different symptoms than what I've been through. Hopefully you won't enter any of that. Hopefully you won't have that. I did. And let's see if I've got that. Yeah, here's a little picture here. Some of you that's been through this, maybe you've been shown something like this. Is it here? Yeah. Okay. All right, cover up my face. Move it in there a little bit, right there. what's that say? It should say the sacrum area. Yeah, and then see, that's the area that on me, the sacrum, was had several of the spots of the multiple myeloma where it had attacked it, and then it had went around to my hips and around in front of into my pelvis. So the area that was attacked was basically that sacrum. That's the bottom of your spine. Yeah, that was one of the areas that they had said was apparently hit pretty hard with the multiple myeloma on me, and then it went around to my hips, went on around to my pelvis, and apparently that whole chain there that I'm speaking about, that's sort of linked together in some way. So if one of those parts fail, it could possibly affect the other parts and cause you a lot of problems. So you really want to get that under control as soon as you can. And one of the reasons why you really want to be careful with your bones when you get this, as far as any types of falls, spills, just simple fall. As I was told you about the guy bent over and picked up the briefcase, or not the briefcase, but the suitcase. You just don't know. Hopefully some of us people watching this, we won't get to that point. But it's better to be careful than to get to that point. Simple things like passing football with my grandson. I'm not really doing that right now. I was cleaning a window, and what did I do? I was cleaning a window, and somehow, some way, it's like I cracked something underneath in my rib area, and I was like, wow, man, I better be really careful. I didn't realize that. It just feels like to me that my bones are a lot more brittle and a lot more not as strong as they used to be. So I'm sure if you talk to your doctors, nurses, hopefully they've maybe told you that, and if they haven't, maybe you need to ask that. Something along those lines about what you should or shouldn't be doing. Even my job. I deem my job as something that I'm probably not going to be able to do my job again because of the level of, I'm not sure what a good word for it, but the level of, energy that it would take to do, force against my muscles and bones. I don't think that that's a good idea to do that. Yeah, and and along the way you can have episodes of where your levels get off on certain things that maybe your red blood cell count may be off, or your oxygen level falls, and you may experience some lightheadedness, fainting, stuff like that. Been through a lot. Like I said, it's a lot that you can go through, but I just wanted to kind of reach out there, put a little video out, maybe do more and go into some details on things that I've been through and things that I've done since then, things that the doctors have done to me, maybe events that I have been through as far as falling, passing out, different things that can happen. And I'm 6'3". I'm about 280 pounds. I'm pretty healthy. Some of the doctors have made the comment to me that you look a lot worse on paper than you do in person. So not a beautiful thing in person, but that's what they say. They say you look a lot worse on paper than you do in person. Hopefully we can. I'm young also. That's something that, according to the doctors, a lot of them do say that that's something I do have going for me, is that I am 53 years old now, but 50, yeah, and But even at my age, like I said, I'm very careful with what I do and things like that. As far as the protecting my bones. But I want to go ahead and close out this video. It's been going for about 20 minutes now, and I guess that's a good thing. I had fun doing it. I had some fun speaking about this. Kind of rambling on a little bit, I guess, at some parts, but you know, I'm doing this for me to have fun and for maybe somebody else out there to listen to it and be like, wow, connect with it and be like, yeah, I've been through that. He's right. Yeah, and I do go through chemo. I can get into some things like that. I do go to chemo weekly, which they've recently made some changes on. Got stem cell transplant possibly coming up soon. So yeah, there's some things I'd like to talk to you guys about, at least throw out there, not really talk to anybody about, I guess, but put some information out there. So I think I'll be doing another video. Check it out if you can later on at some point. I don't know when I'll do it, but this one's over.